Hi everybody, LG here, and welcome to r/relationships. This one's from user ThrowArray Mask On. My best friend called my girlfriend an FNB. I learned the full truth of what happened today. My best friend Tom, my brother really, has been staying with me for 3 months now. He's been my best friend ever since I was 8. We're 20 now. He has a part-time job and does not pay rent. This bugs my girlfriend. I've been dating my girlfriend, Maya, for 7 months, and she has just met Tom. From the moment she met him, she just doesn't like Tom. He's a little immature and a carefree type of guy, and she doesn't like that. There has been a lot of animosity building up between them. I had a get-together this Monday with my friends. Tom and Maya were there. I forgot something and I went to go buy it at the store. One of my friends is a vlogger, so they always have their camera on deck. I was gone for 5 to 10 minutes tops. The store is really close to my place. When I got close to the door, I heard Tom yell, "You effing B!" and a thud, like it was so loud. I walked in and Maya was crying on the floor. She was hysterical and vaguely explained what happened, and Tom kept saying it wasn't true. I wasn't sure what to believe because no one else was speaking and I only heard Tom yell and a thud. Maya said he came at her unprovoked. The thud was Tom attempting to throw a vase at her, and there were shattered pieces on the floor. I drove Maya home and stayed with her. I asked Tom what happened, and he told me that Maya called him a freeloader, poured her drink on him, and the vase accidentally dropped. Tom left my house because he felt I was siding with my girlfriend, when in reality, I just wanted to know the truth. Luckily, my friend had caught the altercation on tape, and I watched it. They asked if they could put it in their blog. Did Tom call Maya a B? Yes, but not for the reasons Maya said. Tom came out, and Maya said something and then called him a freeloader. Tom then got fed up and asked if she would ever shut up. Maya then grabbed her drink, threw it on Tom. Then came the B comment. Maya attempted to push Tom, but he kicked the table to make her trip or something? That's how the vase dropped and why she was on the floor. They both left the physical part out. So I know the truth and I don't know where to begin. Why cause a rift between a friendship? Well, OP, it's clear that she doesn't like your friend and wants him to move out. What I don't understand is why she thinks she gets to say who lives in your house and has to pay rent. It is your house, right? My guess is she lied because it'd be easier to blame him and you should side with her because she's your girlfriend and this way she could get rid of him. Luckily, you know the truth. I don't know why they both lied though. In any case, if I were you, I'd seriously reconsider my relationship with her. Here's the thing, and I don't usually recommend breaking up, but she lied to you so that you would get mad at one of your friends. And that's just not right. You shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody who feels comfortable lying to you in order to cause a rift in a friendship, like you said. Now, if we pose the question, who is the a-hole here, they both are. Your girlfriend shouldn't be sticking her nose into your friendship and calling him a freeloader and all that if you're okay with it, because it sounds like you are. Also, she shouldn't have poured her drink on him. Then Tom is also an a-hole because he shouldn't have reacted the way he did. Yeah, confronting her verbally is okay, but tossing the table or pushing the table so that she would trip, that's not okay. So now, let's move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP and what they think about this whole thing. Spider Not says, why indeed? It seems that Tom only took steps to protect himself and retaliated when he had enough. Maya truly harassed him, played victim, and looks like she took a chance to really show her colors when you were not around. She's not worthy. Please let her go find other green pastures. Iro Valentine says, drop the girl and tell the bro to get a job. Both of them sound like they don't really respect you, but the girlfriend lied openly to your face and you don't need that in your life. And Dopey responds, Tom recently got a part-time job. He was laid off and went through some tough crap, so this job was like a godsend for him. Tom is a good dude, really, he is. He's just having a hard time adjusting with everything that went down a few months back. Anxious6311 says, drop the girl and thank your vlogger friend. OP responds, I wouldn't have known what to think if it wasn't for them vlogging. It might be a bit annoying at times, but it came through this time, not complaining. OP's edit. I see a lot of people saying that Tom is taking advantage of me. which is not true. I am helping Tom get back on track. Tom was in a very bad situation at the start of the pandemic, and he started to give up on himself until he just left. And 7 months went by without hearing from him. I was worried sick until I finally found him. He was in a really bad area, in rough shape, so he lives with me right now while he gets better. Tom is a good friend who's had way too many people in his life convince him that he'll never amount to anything. He's a smart person, but everyone chooses to see him being immature and they use that to tear him down. So that's the community advice. What do you guys think? What kind of advice would you give OP, and what's your analysis of the situation? If you want, you can let me know in the comment section, and in the meantime, let's go check out an update from OP to see what happened after this. Basically, my best friend 2 weeks ago. I found out what really happened between my best friend and girlfriend's fight. My best friend had indeed called my girlfriend an effing B. However, she lied that Tom threw a vase at her out of the blue. Except, she started it by throwing a drink at Tom, and while trying to push Tom, she tripped because Tom kicked the table to make her trip so that she wouldn't hit him, and Maya fell, bringing the vase down with her. I did break up with Maya. I just didn't appreciate how she lied to me and all of the circumstances regarding everything that happened. I found Tom 5 days ago. He went AWOL for 2 weeks, absent without leave. He wasn't showing up to work, his phone was off, and I wasn't hearing anything from him. He went back to the old place I found him the last time, and after going back and forth, he finally came with me. It was a relapse of emotions he felt, like the ones that caused him to spiral in a downward path. You might be asking, why are you watching over a 20-year-old grown man? Tom has been in my life for 12 years, and within those 12 years, I've seen him go through a ton of crap. My family was very fond of Tom, they liked him, and I had a pretty well-fit family. However, Tom's family and life was filled with abandonment, neglect, hopelessness, etc. And he channeled that energy into cracking jokes and being immature when deep down, a lot of people failed Tom in his life. No one has really ever believed in him, and people often look down at Tom, which sucks because he's quite an intelligent guy. I can't take care of Tom all my life, but I would just like to know that he's safe, and if he needs help, I'll offer him help. Thank you to everyone who helped. Well, OP, I'm gonna keep this one short because it's very simple. I think you did the right thing. You chose your friend and you're helping your friend. Your ex lied to you, and that's never welcomed in a relationship. I think you're a good friend, OP, and it's great to see you trying to help out Tom. Hopefully your help will work out and Tom can straighten himself up in order to go at life like he should. So all that there's left to say is the best to both you and Tom. And now, let's move on to the next post. This one's from user Mediocre Housewife. I feel deceived about my husband's finances, and it's a huge strain on our marriage. I was married in my early 20s. He was physically and emotionally abusive, and it was hell for 4 years. When I finally left, I got 2 jobs and rebuilt my whole life back from scratch. I hustled hard for a couple of years. I bought my own place at 27 and spent time being single, dating, and building a solid career. By the time I met my husband, I felt like I was ready to give a relationship a chance. We moved in together after a few months into his rental, and I leased out my condo. Thought being that if we broke up, I could easily move back into my home. Everything was great. After a few more months, his twin brother, who was down on his luck, ended up crashing in our spare room for several months. Didn't pay rent, ate all our food, and didn't clean up after himself. It drained me financially trying to keep everyone's head above water. Trauma made me a people pleaser. Their mother is a wealthy, well-to-do entrepreneur, but here I was supporting her son. At the time, my then boyfriend told me he made the same amount of money as me as a successful sports coach. I trusted him. Why would anyone lie about that, right? To rid ourselves of his brother, we decided to move into my condo and we ended up getting engaged. All totally normal. Because all the mortgage and bills were in my name, we agreed that he would put some money into my account every month and it would settle fair enough. I kept getting uncomfortable with asking each month. But I also got a rather huge promotion, so money wasn't really a factor and it wasn't worth arguing over a few $100 a month when I had it covered. After we got married, I suggested we move to a house out of the city. He was keen with this, and we started shopping. My broker gave us a number which we could shop with based on our incomes. Mine actual, his estimated. I was set to make a really good amount on selling the condo, so that would be a massive down payment. However, when our broker started to ask for financial information, it turned out that my husband hadn't done his taxes in several years and had far more debt than he let on. I was furious. When I started peeling back the layers of the onion, he made far less than minimum wage with his business and owed over $15,000 in other debt. I felt betrayed and was ready to end it there and then. Debt is one thing, lying is another. After many days of arguing, we determined that I would pay off all the debt and start with a clean slate at the new home and try to move forward. The house came with a higher monthly cost. We agreed he would contribute $1,000 and I would contribute $2,000, which would cover all monthly bills and a buffer left over. I made more, I could afford more, and it seemed fair. He has contributed his portion merely 11 times in those 3 years. When he does chip in, he wants a parade as if he is doing some huge favor. Over those 3 years, we have had the same conversation over and over. He buys things for him, but doesn't put any money into the account for bills, ever. Even when I ask, he says he will and then doesn't. He can afford his beer, his weed, his sports equipment, and buying the high-end branded stuff, whereas I am sitting here budgeting how the hell I am going to pay the home insurance or get my car fixed. What he does earn, he keeps to himself. It is not like he doesn't know the cost of our living. I often talk about the bills and monthly output and how much of a struggle it is, but it falls on deaf ears. I have tried writing it out and working through budgeting with him. I have tried setting calendar reminders in his phone to make a payment. He is not comfortable with setting up auto payments, he says. We were trying for a baby, but when I started to realize that he couldn't possibly help support us while I was on maternity leave and that he makes less than childcare costs a month, I said we needed to stop trying. I have tried approaching this money topic in many different ways and none of them work. At this point, I am working 60 hours a week and studying at the same time. I hate my job but can't leave because it pays well, helps with my education, and keeps a roof over our heads. He kind of works, but COVID has meant his industry, athletics and sports, has been hit and miss with consistency this last year. He isn't really qualified for anything else, as he has been working in his field for 15 years and didn't finish university. He hasn't made any effort to backfill his losses and has laid around a lot playing video games. He seems really happy with me subsidizing his life. We have had many conversations about it to the point that I was getting anxiety attacks worrying about how the hell to keep a roof over our heads. He hasn't made any effort to meet me in the middle. He listens but does nothing. He could very easily pick up a hammer as he has done in his younger years. I remind him of what it was like when his twin lived with us. It is the same, like a teenager lying around and lying when he's called out. I recently learned that when we met, his mom was helping him with his rent. A 30-year-old man. I feel so deceived. After all the trauma of the past marriage, I had hoped the nice guy would be the best for my future happiness and emotional physical safety. I was so wrong. Whenever I have raised the issue, he immediately jumps into the "I'm struggling, I am depressed," but has never taken up the multiple counseling resources we have available and says he doesn't trust therapists. What the F? I am so turned off being intimate, I recoil. He no longer makes me laugh. I can barely respond when he tries to be endearing. Our last conversation was 3 weeks ago. I told him this was my last straw. I am not happy and this constant conversation is exhausting and unfair. I don't see any way out of this until he hits rock bottom, but I worry about his mental health. What is even more infuriating is that after paying all the bills, paying off his car, buying our home and everything else in between, if we did divorce, he would get half of everything I have worked my ass off for without lifting a finger. I don't want to lose my house. It is my dream home. I didn't ask for a prenup because I really didn't think I had to, but I am kicking myself. Is there another approach I should try? I feel that I know what the answer is, but I need some help getting there without feeling tremendous guilt and shame. OP, I am so sorry you're stuck with that guy. It sounds like you deserve so much more. You don't have a partner. You have dead weight that you've been carrying around. Regarding another approach, I don't think there is. You've tried this from every different angle to get him to pull his own weight, but he just doesn't want to. At this point, I would believe he is actively trying to live off of you. It's been a 4-year marriage and he's been lying to you since you guys were dating, so this is way before pre-pandemic and all that stuff, so he can't blame that on his lack of income or jobs or whatever. Your husband is financially taking advantage of you. Now, I don't know if this counts as financial abuse because he doesn't have any money, so it's not like he's hanging money over your head to get you to do what you want. Maybe somebody can correct me on this point in the comment section. If I was in your shoes, I'd contact a lawyer to take a look at my options. Maybe they can help you try to salvage as most of your assets as possible and then just cut him loose and forget about him. Now, regarding the shame, OP, I don't think you should feel ashamed. He conned you. It was a love con. And when you're in love and in a relationship, you trust. There's no shame in that. Again, I'm sorry you're stuck with this guy, but you should do whatever you can to get rid of him. And that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. Now, let's move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice they have for OP. Jambo5 says, you are worried about him getting half of everything. Half of everything today is less than half of everything in 10 years. Kick him out and divorce him. His wealthy mother will not see him homeless. Just do it. Alma Mont says, divorcing him now will be cheaper than sustaining him later. He's a leech, not a partner. You can't fix that, and you should not let him sugarcoat it. It seems he never learned about financial responsibility and isn't interested in doing the work of building a future with you unless it's easy for him. It isn't your job to teach him or keep him afloat. Surely you're doing a huge favor for the mom who ditched him and his brother. You've made so many mistakes already. Get some self-respect and divide accounts ASAP. Also, keep your apartment for now. Do not have a child with this guy. You deserve so much better. Wairu's Gumbo says, you paid off his loan? OP, no! You deserve so much better. Your first relationship was abusive, so is this one, just in a different way. Please divorce him. Speak to a lawyer before he's somehow entitled to even more of your money. Well, the community's pretty unanimous in that OP should leave this guy. The one thing I did forget to mention, but the second commenter brought up, is that OP should definitely not have a kid with this guy, because then she's really not going to be able to get rid of him ever again. But apart from that, I think we're all pretty much aligned in that OP should just cut her loss and move on with her life. It sucks, but it has to be done. So, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Let me know in the comment section, and it's once again that time where I ask you that if you liked this video, please go ahead and give it a like. And if you really like this content, then subscribe to the channel, join the community, help it grow. And also, if you want to further engage with the community, join us in the Discord server. There's a link in the description of the video, along with other links that you might find interesting. And finally, once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I've said it many times, and I'm gonna keep saying it. It really means a lot to me that you guys like these videos and that this content is appreciated. So thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.